Washington Football Maniacs.
Oh, Lord, it is not a good morning whatsoever for Washington football fans. I'm tired. I don't think I usually sleep much anyway, but especially after a loss like we had last night, it ranks, honestly, it does rank up there as one of the toughest losses that I have watched for my team. Now, you got to keep in mind, I've been watching Washington play football since '81. So if that gives you any indication of how bad I think this loss is, it's bad. Cheers to you. And so let's get into it. All right. So Washington fumbled away, literally, a game that they should have won, a game that they needed to win, because I feel like this is one of those pivotal games where if you don't win this game, your season can start heading in the very wrong direction. And is that an overreaction? Not a bit, because sometimes these seasons in football tend to play out kind of like a story. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, okay, so you're telling me that the NFL is fixed. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can almost see the storyline. Yes, a lot deals with athletic ability, making the right decisions, and any given Sunday, and all of those things. But the truth is that you can kind of see how a season is going to go for a team when they are faced with certain adversity. And also when you look at a schedule that is very tough for a team to begin with, there's not a lot of room for error. So any games that you feel like you have to win, that you're favored to win, that you should win, you got to win those. That's really all there is to it. You know, if we go back a few weeks, besides the injury to Jaden him being out, Atlanta was a game that Washington should have won, and they did not. No one, I don't think, really expected Washington to necessarily beat Green Bay, and they didn't. But honestly, when I looked at the first four games, I saw a team that could be 3-1. Okay. Then when you get to the Chargers, that's really when I started to feel like, okay, that's going to be a tough game. Now, you can say that, well, okay, if that was a game that you thought that Washington was going to lose, well, they wound up winning that game. So doesn't it kind of even out? That game to me was always kind of a toss-up anyway. I felt like it could go either way, honestly. But this game here, this is one of those games that no matter if the best case scenario had worked out the way that I had imagined it would have worked out through the first 5 games of the season, I would expect that this is the game that no matter what, you win. Why? Well, of course, the Chicago Bears fans, they circled this game, I know, on their schedule. They want it payback. They want to feel that their quarterback is the best quarterback in the league. Yes, there was smack talk last night for sure on social media that's probably going to last for days. And they're going to say that it was because of Washington fans smack talking them. In the end, I felt like it was kind of self-inflicted on that as well, kind of like how the game turned out last night. I felt like they egged it on, and then Washington fans obliged. So, I mean, really, honestly, I'm not sure why you're worried about that, Bears fans. But getting back to my point, the point is that Washington should have won this game. They should have outrushed Chicago 2-1. Instead, DeAndre Swift rushed for 14 carries for 108 yards, averaged nearly 8 yards per carry. And of course, had that long, they didn't put it here in the, they did. It was actually, his touchdown was a reception. By the way, he also had 67 yards receiving as well. So total yards, I mean, he had close to 180 total yards last night. And that long touchdown pass, well, it was a long touchdown pass, short pass that he took it the rest of the way, 50 plus yards. With the Quan Martin horrible chance at a tackle. So, you know the story. I don't need to rehash it. The questions are, what is wrong with the defense? What is freaking wrong with the defense? You have a defensive-minded head coach who feels like he puts a guy in to be a defensive coordinator that you feel like, okay, all right, this, if anything at all, the defense should carry this team until the offense gels and matures enough that the offense can start carrying this team. Right away last year, what happened? The exact opposite. A rookie quarterback, along with the help of some vets like Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, guys like that, helped to carry the team literally last year, all the way to the NFC Conference Championship game. And this year, you feel like, okay, all right, things are going to get a little tougher. So you're really going to need Washington's defense to step up. At first, we thought that was going to be the case. They played really well, lights out against the Giants, struggled against Green Bay, really looked awful against Green Bay, looked terrible against Atlanta, looked pretty good against the Raiders, looked pretty good against the Chargers in the second half. First half, not so much. And then you get to this Bears game. Bears are not supposed to be able to run the ball against you. They're not supposed to be able to stop the running game. Instead, they really, they shut, I won't say they shut Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt down, but I don't know how I set an alarm for 8:05, but anyway, yeah, I don't know how that Chicago was able to stop the run enough, but they limited Bill to just a little over 3.5 yards per carry. Of course, he fumbled twice, although I will say that last fumble, really not on him. It was on Jaden Daniels. So I would really say he fumbled once. But the point is that this is going to be a concern with Bill moving forward, ball security. And Jaden Daniels out there turning the ball over a couple of times. The first one, bad interception, just very bad interception. Just didn't see sight of the defender there. And then, of course, fumbles the snap. Tried to hand it off to Bill. Bill can't handle it. Really, that was on Jaden Daniels. So, yes. Unfortunately, JD cost us the game last night. He really did. And you can argue, well, what about the defense? Yes, the defense was terrible too. You know, had Quan Martin at least tried to force DeAndre Swift out of the field, out of bounds, maybe we could have stopped the Bears from scoring, but he allowed him to rumble for 50 plus yards. And I knew right then and there, I'm like, you cannot allow Chicago an opportunity to keep this close, because if they get the ball back, they're going to score. And yeah, you had some good moments from the defense last night, but you also saw them getting gashed left and right. So yes, the defense has a lot to blame for last night's loss. The weather, certainly, this is another thing when it comes to play calling and the weather. I think you got to understand that weather is a factor. And when you have a 3rd and 1, I don't know why you line up in a pistol. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. We did see Jaden Daniels line up under center a couple of times to give the ball off to the running back. I don't know why that they couldn't do that in that situation. Call me an old fuddy-duddy. Call me a boomer, which I'm not, but whatever you need to call me, that's fine. The thing is that there's a better chance of you getting the football and handing it off to the wide receiver clean if you're lined up under center. When you're in the pistol, anything can happen. A bad snap. Yes, there could be a bad snap under center. Usually that's not going to be as prevalent as, when a snapper has to snap it a few yards back behind him. It's just the point is that you're having to catch the ball and then you're having to toss the ball basically to the running back. And you're already several yards deep in the backfield. So you're starting off, it's 3rd and 1, but yet you're starting off like 3rd and 6, basically. By the time that the running back gets the ball, he doesn't really have a full head of steam. And I really feel like in that situation, number one, I feel like you have to have a huge back. Yes, I'm going to go old school. I'm going to say you need to have somebody like John Riggins in there, a big fullback, Mike Allstott, if you want to get a little bit more, I won't say modern, but at least on the other side of the 2000s. You need somebody like that in those situations. And you need to go heavy jumbo. You need to put the quarterback under center, give the ball off to heavy jumbo. Either that or a quarterback sneak, something. If you don't get it on the 3rd and 1, you're pushing it a little bit further, a little bit closer to where you can get the first down on 4th down. But for the love of me, I don't know why you line up in a pistol. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. And yes, I know that that's a lot of their bread and butter, but I don't understand offensive coordinators in this league nowadays that insist that the old tried and true way is not the way to do it. But you got to get fancy. You got to be in the shotgun on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and inches and hand the ball off to the running back who's got to get a running start. And it just doesn't make any sense. I think sometimes these guys, these offensive coordinators tend to second guess themselves. But I would just say in that play, you line everybody up, tight formation, heavy jumbo, quarterback's under center. He's going to hike the ball. He's going to either keep it himself, quarterback sneak, or you're going to hand it off to a fullback, let the fullback get ahead of steam, barrel through there, get the first down. Don't know why that's so hard to call. Even if the other team is, expecting it, so be it. Just the Bears were not supposed to be a team that was supposed to be able to stop the run. If that was the case, you should be able to pick up a 1 yard for a first down easily by running the ball like that. And that's what's so frustrating about it. The last thing I will say is that this is a game that's going to change the trajectory of the season. Guarantee it. Because we got the Lions, we got the Chiefs coming up. Those are going to be very tough games. And Washington already knows that it's just going to get tougher. We haven't even played the Eagles yet. We have a very, very tough schedule ahead. And honestly, getting Terry back would help. But that's the other thing. We miss Terry. I think last night proved that we kind of missed Terry. Again, it's a blessing in disguise because we've seen guys continue to develop like Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane. Both of those guys have really benefited from the absence of Terry. And those guys continue to play really well. And so that's the upside of not having Terry in there or Noah. But outside of that, we miss Terry. We need that number one receiver. Deebo Samuel he didn't do anything last night. that hurt the team as well. I think he was injured, but besides that, man, just overall, it was just not a good game. And I think, unfortunately, this could be the tipping point of where the team starts heading in the wrong direction. I am normally not a doomsday type of fan. I'm probably more of a rose-colored glasses type of fan than anything else. But I'm telling you, I've seen this story play out, and giving the schedule, giving the injuries that have been going on, and given the fact that the defense just really hasn't been consistent enough and can't put together a full game, can't stop the run when they need to, this team is not ready. We thought that this team would, last year was just a very big surprise for us. This year, I think we're really starting to see the story of exactly where this team probably should have been at last year. Have some good moments, make some good plays, have some players that are exciting that you feel like are going to be fun players to watch in the long run, but they're not there yet. And they're not. They probably won't even make the playoffs this year. That's how much that I feel like this team is going to struggle with this schedule, and with the key players being out. You can't really expect a whole lot. So I know that is probably the episode that you didn't want to hear, but it's probably the episode that you expected. And most of the time that we have pretty exciting and happy-go-lucky content here at the Maniacs, and if so, I think you should consider subscribing. I have some loyal fans who have stuck with me through the trials and tribulations of YouTube, so I really appreciate all you guys. But this is probably the podcast that we needed, because number one, I'm grumpy. I didn't sleep well. I didn't have enough sleep last night. A lot of us fans are going to be grumpy today. And I'm very disappointed, because we should have come out with victory last night. We fumbled it away. Folks, take care. I'll see you in the next one.